Something about Ariana Grande feels off right now. Some people are saying this looks dark. Some are straight up calling it demonic. Why does every pop star eventually hit a point where being hot, rich, famous, and talented apparently isn't enough anymore? Now we need blood, demons, death, hell, weird looking ritual shit. Everybody starts dressing like they crawled out of Satan's basement, and somehow we're the weird ones for asking why. Ariana's at that phase now where people look at her and go, what the fuck happened? And then she releases Petal, a darker project where different versions of her audition for approval while executives judge her appearance, authenticity, and marketability, and a flower slowly withers. Then Ariana turns the whole thing into a blood-soaked revenge fantasy, chainsaws the executives who judged her, and walks out to the approval of other women. Very subtle. Does that prove Ariana Grande is possessed? No. But I do think people are picking up on something real, because the interesting question isn't just why Ariana looks different. It's where Ariana Grande, the person, ends, and Ariana Grande, the image, begins. And the irony is almost too perfect. Ariana makes art about being judged and reduced to an image, and the public immediately goes online and starts dissecting Ariana. You almost couldn't write the joke any better, because this is what fame does. You start with the person. The person develops into an image. The image becomes a brand, and the brand becomes a product. And once the identity becomes a product, you don't get to change like a normal human being anymore. You change your hair, 12 people notice. Ariana changes her hair, and 2 million unpaid FBI agents start pulling screenshots from 2016. Look at her eyes. She looks sick. She looks amazing. What happened to her? Nobody knows a fucking thing. Everybody has a diagnosis. Celebrities don't just exist anymore. They have eras. The high ponytail pop star, the polished, almost storybook Glinda image. Now this darker, stranger Petal version. Hollywood doesn't just sell music. It sells identities until the person underneath starts looking like fucking Smeagol. And once reinvention becomes part of the job, different eventually has to become more sexual, more shocking, more disturbing. We've seen this movie before. Lil Nas X gives Satan a lap dance, Sam Smith performs in Devil Horn surrounded by fire, Madonna was pissing off the Vatican before some of you were born. At some point, every pop star discovers demons. Pretty gets attention, then sexy, then rebellious, then shocking, and eventually, even rebellion gets boring. So now you need imagery that would have gotten somebody institutionalized in 1954. Demons, hell, blood, and death come preloaded with meaning. Even spiritual rebellion becomes branding. And whenever people point this out, they get the same response. It's just art. It's art and it means nothing are not the same sentence. Art uses symbols. That's the fucking point. Maybe it's theater, maybe it's marketing. Fine. What you can't do is demand that everybody pretends symbols suddenly stop meaning anything because Ticketmaster was involved. And this is where the phrase selling your soul gets more interesting. People imagine Satan sliding paperwork across a desk, but there's a version happening in broad daylight. Hollywood can buy pieces of you. Your privacy, your image, your relationships, your sexuality, your time. Eventually, even your pain becomes content. But once you repeatedly surrender yourself to something, that thing starts making demands. Fame says, stay visible. The audience says, keep entertaining me. The market says, reinvent yourself. The algorithm says, become more extreme. And when your money, status, identity, and self-worth all depend on feeding that machine, eventually the question stops being, what are you selling, and becomes, what are you serving? Christianity does not teach that evil is just spooky metaphor for bad vibes. Evil is real. Spiritual influence is real. Temptation is real. Idolatry is real. And the devil doesn't need to walk on stage wearing a name tag that says, hi, I'm Satan. Sometimes evil works better when it doesn't look evil. Make it beautiful. Make it fashionable. Make it sexy. Make it rebellious. Give it a beat. Put it under stage lights. Call it self-expression. And now the person questioning it looks like the crazy one. Did somebody say Kanye?
Hollywood and media has controlled so much of the narrative.
That is a fucking excellent hiding place, because the first goal isn't to make you worship evil. That's hard. There's an easier first step. Convince you evil means nothing. And if you want a simple framework for spotting what media is actually trying to sell you, I made a free propaganda filter. It's in the description. The first time you see something grotesque, you recoil. The 100th time, it's an aesthetic. Put it on a shirt, make an edit, call it iconic. And if evil actually wanted to hide in plain sight, what would be smarter? Looking obviously evil, or becoming so familiar, beautiful, entertaining, and profitable that people defend it for you? That's the warning behind gaining the world and losing your soul. Because this isn't really a celebrity problem. It's a worship problem. What gets your attention? What gets your obedience? What are you willing to become for approval? What part of yourself are you willing to trade for the thing you think will finally make you whole? Fame just makes that trade visible on a scale most of us will never experience. And if evil is real, why the hell wouldn't it use culture, beauty, desire, status, fame, entertainment? Maybe evil doesn't always need to hide in the shadows. Maybe sometimes it walks straight out under the stage lights, gives you a wave, and waits for everybody to call it art.